Okay, here's the real truth. The real truth about making gains as a natural. The real truth about natty gains. You ready for something mind-blowing? Just poof. The reality, the real truth. And why don't people give you the real truth when you find out how simple it is coming from me? Why don't everybody give you the real truth? They don't give you the real truth because they want to seem like they have some kind of knowledge that eludes other people's perception. That other people can't comprehend what works. Other people don't know what works. That they have some kind of an edge or upper hand on everybody else, and that's why you should go look at their shit, because they're an expert and other people aren't, and they know something esoteric that nobody else knows, which is all bullshit, okay? So you ready for it? Here's the real truth. Natty gains. Guess what? It all works. That's all there is to it. It all works. It all works. So end the video. You might as well turn it off now. It all works. All works. Now I know there are questions. What do you mean it all works? Just what I said. It all works. It all works because it's not as much about methodology. Not as much. Can you fine-tune things and find things that kind of work a little better here, a little better there? Yes. Are they going to work better by leaps and bounds? No. No, not if you've already fulfilled the one factor that really quantifies whether or not you're going to experience hypertrophy from a workout. And you know what that is? There are a lot of factors contributing, yes, nutrition and rest and recovery. But you know what that one most important factor is? Intensity. Intensity. Workload. You've got to be able, getting ready to go work out. You have to be able to get those muscles to a place, to where they need to be. You got to be able to get them to where they need to be. You have to deliver enough of a workload that you're going to force those muscles to adapt. And it doesn't matter how in the hell you get there. It doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there. If you get there in that workout and you feed that body, you give that body adequate nutrition and adequate rest, you're going to grow. It's as simple as that. Now, yeah, there's all kind of details people could point out and say, oh, well, you can't grow forever. Right, eventually you're going to pretty much slow down, max out, etc., etc. But I would have guessed that the reason most people clicked on this video is because they're having problems as a natty making gains. And I'm telling you right now, it all works. It all works. I'm so sick of seeing videos of guys decrying that it's all the drugs, it's the drugs. That only works if you're on drugs. No. No, it's still the same rules. It's the same rules. Your recovery is so much more enhanced. Yes. Your uptake of your nutrition is so much more enhanced. Protein synthesis, etc., etc. Yes. So you can do it faster, you can do it longer, you can do it harder. And you're going to recover, and you're going to grow. But the place where you have to get those muscles to is all the same. It's all the same. And how you get there doesn't matter. And if you ask me, that's one of the most enjoyable and attractive aspects to the whole game, is that you can do your own thing. You can do it however you enjoy doing it. It's like busting a nut. I don't mean to be rude, but does it really matter how you get there? As long as you get there, right? It's the same thing. As a natty, it's the same thing. Let me give you some examples. When I first started out, I trained as a natty a long, long time. The only reason I ever decided to compete, a guy like me, if you've been here long enough and know enough about me, you can pretty much judge for yourself and look at me and say, well, why would he ever want to shave his body hair off, slather some oil on, and put on a pair of panties and prance around and pose under some lights on a stage for mostly men? Why? Well, if it was me, then you know that it's probably just because it just seemed like a natural progression. Because I gained muscle so easily, because I was bigger than most of the guys that were trying their, busting their balls trying to get there, and I was already bigger, and I was already still growing still. You know, I was that guy, even as a natty. So why was I no longer a natty? Because I already achieved so much success as a natty that it encouraged me, and I said, you know what, maybe I can make money doing this bullshit. That's why. But I trained as a natty many, many years, to the degree that even, I'm going to tell you this right now, all these years I've been on YouTube, which hasn't been that long, hasn't been that many years, the whole time I've been on YouTube, I sat down and looked at it and very quickly realized I've been on as much as I've been off the whole time you've been seeing me on all of these videos. There have been periods where I've been off 7 months at a time, 8 months at a time, 9 months at a time. Yeah, off completely, everything. And that's a whole other video. The crowd thinks, oh, you'll lose all your gains. Anybody who says otherwise is lying. Bullshit. If you were that enlightened, you wouldn't have to call other people liars. When you're speaking outside of your neck about something you don't know fuck all about. You can only talk about your own experiences in this world. That's what you know about. You can talk about anything. An idiot will babble to himself walking down the road. Anything come to mind. Right? But that's another video, which I will make. But this one, yeah, it all works. You just have to get those muscles to that place where they've been beaten down enough. You've asked them to do more than they're capable of doing. You've taken them, you've gotten to that spot. And where the actual problem in that comes in is that after you've been doing this for a while and you're really jacked about it psychologically, and you get in the gym and you really are enjoying yourself and you get carried away, it's very easy to get carried away and to overdo it. Because there's a fine line there. It's not really a fine line, it's actually a large, wide, thick, solid line where you know that you're there, you've reached that point. No need to continue. But yet you still try to continue. So you know you're crossing that line. And now if you get injured, you're on the other side of that line. You knew that potential was exponentially increased because you knew you crossed that line. So you got to get to that place. Now most people, average people in the gym, they don't get to that place. They're just going through motions. I'm sorry, they are. Because it hurts. It's extracting. It's difficult. It's not, it's uncomfortable. Let's put it that way. It's uncomfortable. But however you get there, it's still going to work. When I first started out, okay, I did the standard bodybuilding shit that I read in the magazines, with free weights, all free weights. I didn't have a gym membership, but I had free weights, a whole set of free weights at one point, finally. And I did all the standard shit, and I did grow, and I did progress. That's why I stayed at it. I kept at it because I was enthused by the results I was seeing. But there came a point in time, after I'd been lifting a couple of years, I had a pretty decent physique, in the works. And I found, I'm not going to lie to you, I watched that Cybergenics video because I bought that Cybergenics kit. And it worked. It worked really well for me. And why did it work? Did it work because there were some kind of mystical, magical supplements? I can't say that's why it worked. I was such a beginner at that time, and desperately in need of knowledge. But I think for the most part it's because it gave me a regimen. It gave me a doctrine of a discipline. It gave me consistency in the workouts. It made me more consistent. And one of the chief things that it gave me was a different understanding of intensity. Okay, so I made progress in the beginning just from doing your standard flat barbell bench, flat dumbbell bench, incline barbell bench, incline dumbbell bench, dumbbell flies, dumbbell pullovers, barbell pullovers, all these kind of things. Barbell rows, Jefferson deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, stiff leg deadlifts with bars, barbell squats, just all your normal regular things, bent over barbell rows, all the normal things, dumbbell rows, all the normal free weight stuff, no machine stuff whatsoever. And I made progress. But when I discovered the Cybergenics workout program, it had me doing pre-exhaustion stuff, okay? Like for chest, it had you do a set of flies, and as soon as you put the dumbbells down, you immediately, you were on your bench that was already loaded with a bar. All right, and you scooted down enough that you could do flies with dumbbells. And as soon as you set the dumbbells down, you scooted up underneath that barbell, and you did your flat bench press. And then I think when you were done that flat bench press, you did push-ups. I think, or maybe the last set you did push-ups. Whichever it was, however it was. I know that even like on squats, it had you doing plyometric type of stuff, jumping up and down after the squats, after you just re-rack the weight. And you know what? Man, I blew the hell up from that. I really grew from that. Relative to the fact that I was a natty, and I only had a couple years probably in training. And that really had a drastic effect on my physique in a positive way. So as a natty, both ways I grew. I think that the Cybergenics kind of introduced me to a more formatted nutritional plan, and stuff like that. I think maybe just the training advice and advise and the workout and the nutrition, I think that for the most part is what worked for me with it, because I lacked all those things really. Didn't even realize it, but I did. So I made progress both ways. I made progress as the typical stuff that you would think a natty should do, and I made progress doing pre-exhaustion stuff, which some people come on here and they'll tell you it doesn't work at all. You know what? Anything works. Even as a natty, it all works as long as you can recover from it, and as long as it's mandatory that you take those muscles as far as they need to go in the workout. If you don't go that far, then you shouldn't be expecting a whole lot of gains. Now, people are going to see this and decry it and say, oh, it's bullshit. Natty's got to train completely differently. No, natty's, like I said, as long as you don't out-train your nutrition or your ability to recover. So that you have to figure out for yourself and feel out for yourself. Now, with me, can you hang with me set for set, rep for rep as a natty and do what I do and you're going to grow the same as me? No, because I recover better, I grow better, I absorb nutrition better, all that bullshit. As a natty, you're left to your genetic abilities or your genetic limitations, whatever they may be. And they don't have to really be considered a limitation as long as you just respect it. It's more of kind of like the lines in a road, so you just stay in your lane, so you don't cross the center line. That's kind of what you don't want to do. That's kind of what you don't want to do. You don't want to exceed the limits where you're going to be unable to recover from it. So that's the part you have to figure out. But I wouldn't worry a whole shit ton about that, because although I do see natties do that, mostly I see people undertraining. And my version of undertraining pretty much just consists of the reality that you're not hitting that intensity. You're not hitting the intensity level that you need to achieve in the workout to force your body to have to respond in an adaptation and grow and get stronger. Okay? So that's pretty much as simple as it is. I can't really elaborate on it more and make it complicated and all that kind of shit and make it sound like it's some kind of, like really high-end, hard-to-achieve knowledge that I have that's, far exceeds anything else anybody else knows. No. It's pretty much as simple as everything works. Everything has the potential to work. It's as simple as that, man. The gym's for everybody. Go in the gym, have a good time, enjoy yourself, do your thing. Don't fool yourself unless that's what you enjoy doing, right? And if you're having problems, you're not making gains, and the people that are going to decry this and say, oh, this bullshit, et cetera, like I was getting ready to say, you're the guys that aren't making gains as natties. You're the guys that's your excuse. That's your excuse. And I would say to you that you need to look at your training and see, are you overtraining? Are you exceeding what your nutrition and your recovery abilities can support? And if you are, why? Is your nutrition lacking? You're not getting any sleep? You're not eating? You're not getting any water? A lot of people underestimate the effect of water. You're made out of mostly water. You're not getting enough water or something else, or are you training too much? Or are you overtraining every time? I'm going to tend to say that you're probably doing, most guys are going to do too much in the gym, but they're never going to hit the intensity level they need to hit anyway. So they're doing a bunch of extra superfluous bullshit that they could have done half as much volume and trained at a higher level of intensity and made better progress as a natty. So that's it. And like I said, the guys that are going to be hating on this, you're probably the very guys that are not making any progress, and you want an excuse for it. And so, you know, rather than look at your own training and evaluate it, you've lost that spark or that fire or that ambition. So instead, you're going to resign yourself to be happy with what you got, and you're going to say this is bullshit. So whatever, enjoy yourself. If that's what you like to do. It's your gym membership. You know, do your thing.